There's not, like Dogfoot.
I just think it's hysterical that no one could figure it out. I think that's hysterical, really. You know, if they got everyone on it trying to figure it out, and no one can figure it out. That
Well, this is the thing. This is, we talk about the press and we talk about, what is their job? The press is their job is not to inform us of anything. Their job is to entertain us and get us to pay them to keep them in business. So of course they're going to do something they're going to say, "Oh, it's a mystery. Nobody knows." When everybody who's running one of those drones knows. They know what they're doing. They know why they're doing it. And if it's a group effort, there's we can figure it out. But anyway, I think it's funny. And I hope that none of us get caught up in it.
no.
Rafi, go ahead.
High five, Rafi.
A guy who has a drone says, I got a drone, I got a drone, I got a drone to play with. I got a drone just like years ago. I got a stereo, I got a stereo. Ooh, or somebody just gets a new I got a motorcycle, I got a motorcycle. Ooh, I got a drone.
Yep.
They can put a man on the moon.
Look at my drone. Woo! Look at my new car. Woo!
Exactly.
That is simple. Yeah.
So since we didn't get to do, we ended up talking last night and didn't get to do our MVC thing that I put together. I thought maybe we could do that tonight, if y'all wouldn't mind, and kind of get a better picture of what nonviolent communication is. So let me get my sharing the screen up. All right. So yeah, we're calling this practicing forgiveness through nonviolent communication. And let me there we go. Practicing forgiveness through NVC, nonviolent communication. So this is from the course. The Holy Spirit's function is entirely communication. He, therefore, must remove whatever interferes with communication in order to restore it. Therefore, keep no source of interference from his sight, for he will not attack your sentinels, but bring them to him and let his gentleness teach you that in the light they are not fearful and cannot serve to guard the dark doors behind which nothing at all is carefully concealed. We must open all doors and let the light come streaming through. There are no hidden chambers in God's temple. Its gates are open wide to greet his Son. No one can fail to come where God has called him if he close not the door himself upon his Father's welcome. And that's from text chapter 14. We were talking about that today, that the door is open and we're just standing saying, I don't know if I should come in or not. But look what he says here. The Holy Spirit's entire function is entirely communication. He therefore must remove whatever interferes with communication in order to restore it. So really what we're talking about with nonviolent communication is removing the blocks to true communication, removing the interference. And the interference is what comes up when we think with the ego and we're looking with our opinions and our stories about people, our stories about each other. That's what's really interfering with our own communication. And so doing something like this, I believe it's the Holy Spirit's work, is to help us remember the truth about ourselves. So in the holy instant, no one is special. For your personal needs intrude on no one to make your brother seem different. Without the values from the past, you would see them all the same and like yourself. This is a big key thing in nonviolent communication, is that we all have the same needs. There is no different needs. No human has any different needs than any other human. Wants, desires, etc. That's a different thing, but actual needs, no. And without the values from the past, you would see them all the same and like yourself, nor would you see any separation between yourself and them. In the holy instant, you see in each relationship what it will be when you perceive only the present. If and then this is what I just put here. If we're listening to others with our culturally trained ego ears, we hear complaints, criticisms, and attacks everywhere. It's easy in that case to respond with similar attacks or to feel defensive or just leave feeling miserable and misunderstood. And that's generally what happens when we go to a place or people where, they perceive their needs are different than mine. Their needs are more important than mine. My needs are more important than theirs. Whatever it is, the Holy Spirit says it's all the same. And it's when we begin to see the sameness that we actually begin to hear the voice for the Holy Spirit. And so when Marshall's talking about giraffe ears, I like my little giraffe there. When we listen, where our giraffe ears in the Christ mind, we have a powerful technology available to us. Think of giraffe ears as a sophisticated translating device. When we decide to put on giraffe ears, all the criticisms, blames, and attacks of others are translated into simply their feelings and unmet wants and needs. And so, why Marshall picked the giraffe to be the symbol, because he's tall, he can look over and see far away. He can see, things that most of us can't see from our place on the ground. And because the giraffe has the biggest heart, because it has to have a large heart to pump blood all the way up to the top of the head. That's another good reason why Marshall chose the giraffe as a symbol of nonviolent communication. And so that's one of the reasons that, I like to have little giraffes. If I ever see a giraffe somewhere, I'll always pick it up or buy it because it, keeps me focused on, this whole idea of remembering who I'm listening with and remembering the Holy Spirit. So let's see what's next here. Okay, so when we wear giraffe ears, we hear their pain, but we don't take it personally. We can have empathy and feel connected to a person when we hear only their feelings and needs. It's as if they already spoke perfect giraffe themselves. As Marshall says, criticism, complaints, judgments, and attacks are all just tragic expressions of difficult feelings and unmet needs. And you'll hear this a lot of times when you listen to Marshall or other people talking about nonviolent communication. What we're experiencing is a tragic expression of difficult feelings and unmet needs. And it's tragic because people suffer when they're not being heard, when they're not being able to express themselves. And when you're not being heard. And I know we can all think of times when we were not being heard, and then how that makes you feel. And as I mentioned, feelings is a very important part of nonviolent communication. So here's something that Marshall said. When we settle, let's see. Would somebody else like to read this? Can you read this? Would anybody like to read this paragraph from Marshall? And then we have a paragraph from the course that goes with it. Oh, please go ahead, Karen.
When we settle our attention on other people's feelings and needs, we experience our common humanity. When I hear that he's scared and wants to protect himself, I recognize how I also have a need to protect myself and I too know what it's like to be scared. When my consciousness is focused on another human being's feelings and needs, I see the universality of our experience. I had a major conflict with what went on in his head, but I've learned that I enjoy human beings more if I don't hear what they think, especially with folks who have his kind of thoughts. I've learned to savor life much more by only hearing what's going on in their hearts and not getting caught up with the stuff in their heads. Marshall B. Rosenberg. Wow.
Yeah, and that's why it's so focused on the heart. So focused on that because, yeah, people have nonsense in their heads, but the heart doesn't lie.
That's so funny. When I was growing up, I guess I was a teenager around this time, and my dad used to say, Karen, you got to stop thinking with your heart and think with your head. Because I'd wear my heart on my sleeve, and I think with my heart, and I'd always end up getting hurt. You got to stop wearing your heart. You got to start thinking with your head and not with your heart. But Marshall's saying the opposite here. Yeah.
Yes. Karen, do you realize that you were never hurt?
That's true.
It was all for you.
Yes, sir, it was. Yes, it was.
Look at you now, right?
Yeah.
I love it. So who would like to read the paragraph, or Karen, if you'd like to read the paragraph from the course that I chose to go with this?
I read it.
Okay, thank you, Rafi. Rafi. I'm doing it again.
My twin brother. Don't worry about it. We the same.
Thank you, Rico.
We're all one love. Don't worry about the
That's
distinction.
right.
An instant spent without your old ideas of who your great companion is and what he should be asking for will be enough to let this happen. And you will perceive his purpose is the same as yours. He speaks for what you want and needs the same as you. It takes perhaps a different form in him, but it is not the form you answer to. He asks and you receive, for you have come with but one purpose, that you learn you love your brother with a brother's love. And as a brother, must his father be the same as yours, as he is like yourself in truth.
Thank you, Rico. So yeah, it's about not making up a story in your head about who your brother is and what your brother's purpose is. Jesus says it's the one purpose. It's the same thing. And love is the only thing. So if you learn to love your brother with a brother's love, then you'll remember your father's the same and he's like yourself. And this is why nonviolent communication works, is because we don't assume anything about anybody. We get rid of all of our old ideas of who our great companion is. And that includes everybody. That's everybody. Just get out of your mind who you think he is, what you think he did, what somebody told you about him, what you saw some time ago, what you saw a minute ago. Get that out of your head, because those are old ideas about something that never happened. So, that's why this stuff works, is because we recognize our sameness. And sameness is the truth. Anybody have any thoughts or questions about that? Obviously it's easier said than done, because we have our opinions. But
Again,
go ahead.
I forgot to introduce myself. Good evening, family and friends. Thank you for letting me be here with you. I send you love and life from my heart to yours. What I like about Marshall's deal is I've had to really, and this is only since I've met you guys, I really have to have a conscious decision to go to the heart before I listen to the head, because the head is like on automatic. When I first met you guys, I was like Lonnie Launchpad Billy Blastoff, always on Zoom, and not this picture Zoom, but Zoom up here. And I like, if I see some sort of interaction, to go to my heart instead of going to my head and analyzing it, judging it, and misperceiving it. So I really like the way he expressed it here.
Thank you, Rico. And yeah, it does change everything. Rafi, did you want to say something?
Well, I think Rico just said it. I mean, if we're coming from the heart, we're coming from a place of understanding, kindness, compassion, empathy, and we're not trying to use our intellect to show them how smart we are and how much we can help them and what we can do. Okay, we're not the hero. We don't get that ego hero mentality. Look what I know. Uh, that way to go, Rico. That was perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's why we twins, Rafi.
That is, you're right. Karen, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I like that you chose this from the section Walking with Christ. So that's like, this whole section is about your brother and joining with the Holy Spirit. So, that's the only way that I can see one brother as all brothers and love my brother with a brother's love, is by joining with the Holy Spirit. Because of myself, I am not capable of doing that. So it's always like we were just talking about earlier, really asking the Holy Spirit, to help me see my brother as myself, to see my brother with a brother's love, which is all inclusive, which is really what we're learning here, that one brother really is all brothers. And the answer that I give my brother is what I am asking for. And what I learn of him is what I learn about myself, because he is just a reflection of my thoughts. So this is just a great, great reminder, and it is a good way to communicate with everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, I love that too. Yeah, walking with Christ. That's what we're doing, walking each other home. Brooklyn, please go ahead.
Namaste, mighty companions. So good to be here. It's so interesting when you can see a reaction and then remember your choice. It's right in front. It happened to me today. It's kind of, huh? And then, no, I went from my head to my heart. And it's wonderful to be able to see both of them and to choose. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brooklyn. Yeah, it is wonderful. And it is because we have the same purpose. It doesn't matter what you might think about another person. We're here for the same thing. And it is that communication that the Holy Spirit wants to communicate through us and to us. Rico, please go ahead.
Yeah, Lynn, as I practice or in my practices, trying to go to my heart, which is not yet, it will happen, but not yet automatic, but really helps me if I see something that appears to be unpleasant some kind of way, or I judge it, don't like it. The only thing that can help me get back to my heart is the pause that I learned from you guys, the pause. If I pause and that puts my brain on hold, and I have a chance of going back to the heart. If I don't pause, and I'm going straight Lonnie Launchpad Billy Blastoff, and then I'm in trouble.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And that's stop. What is it that Vicky always says? Stop, drop, and pray. Stop, drop, and pray. And that's it. Just stop. Stop it. Anybody else have any thoughts before we go on? Let's see. Have to keep. There we go. So talking about nonviolent communication, the basic model for NBC is really simple. It's a process that combines four components. Okay, there's four components and two parts, 4 and 2. While the four components are specific ideas and actions that fit into the form and the model of NBC, the two parts provide a solid foundation for NBC as well as for living nonviolently. They are the basis for Marshall's ideas of giving and receiving from the heart. And the brief definitions, and we're going to go over them. The two parts, no, I said 4 and 2, but we're going to go with the first two. Empathy. Would anybody like to read this, both of these? Since I don't just hear my voice all the time. Yes, please go ahead, Rafi.
Empathy. I just remember that Robert Adams has wrote 2 volumes of a book called Silence of the Heart. And it just rang into my head beautifully. Anyhow, empathy. Receiving from the heart creates a means to connect with others and share experiences in a truly life-enriching way. Empathy goes beyond compassion, allowing us to put ourselves into each other's shoes, to sense the same feelings and understand the same needs. In essence, being open and available to what is alive in others. It also gives us the means to remain present, and which is so vital, to and aware of our own needs and the needs of others, even in extreme situations that are often difficult to handle. Put yourself in the other person's place. What the hell are they going through? Good God. And how would I handle that if I was going through that?
Oh. Hi there, how are you?
Exactly. And then let's see.
Is my dog happy?
Yes.
Let's see. I'm putting Dove on
So
mute.
it
Okay.
might come.
All right, and then you want to read the second part? The second part?
Oh, sure. 2, honesty. Giving from the heart has its roots in honesty. Honesty begins with truly understanding ourselves and our own needs and being in tune with what is alive.
Yeah, thank you. You're going to hear Marshall talk about what is alive and what is alive in you and what is what is alive in your brother, what is alive in the people around you, and what is alive in you is the thing that motivates you and keeps you thinking and working and doing the things that you do. What's alive in me is what keeps me engaged in life. So being in tune with what's keeping people engaged in life, being in tune in what is uh, giving people joy, giving people pleasure, giving people uh, the connection that we all need. That's what's alive in us. And when you start recognizing what's alive in people, then you can begin to relate to them in a much more um, open and empathic way. Because once you realize what's alive in this person is the same thing that's alive in me, the thing that makes this person uh, want to get up and do something in their life or do something for the world or whatever, it's the same thing that keeps me up and going. I may not, want to go out and, you know, fly my drone around, but that might be what is alive in somebody is the joy that they have, going out and flying their drone around. I know when my kids were little, we used to do rockets. We did those model rockets. I don't know if y'all ever saw any of those, but you build them and then they have little rocket motors that you light up and or actually they're ignited by a battery. So you set the thing up and you set it up and the rocket goes up and you watch it and watch it and watch it and then the parachute opens up and then it falls and falls and falls and then you have to go look for it but our family had endless hours, days of fun building rockets and playing with rockets. And I'm sure people that saw those rockets, didn't know what they were, might have thought they were something that coming to get them, or attack from somebody or something. But it was just us and our kids playing with rockets, just like people might be out there playing with their drones. But anyway, that's what was alive in us. That gave us joy, gave us connection. We had so much fun doing it, and that's no different than anybody else. If your joy is playing games or building rockets, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, that is, that's how we maintain our joy, is by doing things that keep us alive. So let's see. So that's the two parts. Empathy and honesty are the two parts. And then the four components. And I'm just going to read through these because we're going through this a little. I'm going to read through these four components, and you'll get to know them as we talk. And if we say oftener, O, F, N, R. Observations, feelings, needs, and requests. And in nonviolent communication, every conversation is oftener. Every conversation in nonviolent communication is oftener. So observation without evaluation consists of noticing concrete things and actions around us. We learn to distinguish between judgment and what we sense in the present moment, and to simply observe what is there. So observation is the first thing. You get in a conversation with somebody and say, it's your child. And your child says, I want to go up to the mountains with these guys and spend the weekend. All right. You might have a lot of thoughts about this, but an observation about it, I see that, I see that you want to go up in the mountains and hang out with your friends for the weekend. That's an observation. It's not, oh, those kids are no good. I'm worried about what's going to happen to you. I don't like the idea of this. You don't go into any kind of a judgment. You don't go into any kind of any fear, any thought about it. You just observe. Oh, I see. You want to go spend the weekend with your friends in the mountains. Okay. Then feelings. And when we notice things around us, we inevitably experience varying emotions and physical sensations in each particular moment. Here, distinguishing feelings from thoughts is an essential step to the NVC process. Okay, so, I see you want to go out to the mountains with your friends. How do I feel about it? This is when you have to really get into looking at your feelings without judgments and recognizing, I feel, okay, and be honest with yourself about how you feel about it. I feel worried that your friends are going to go out and you're going to get drunk and, burn the forest down, or you don't have to go into any of that. You can just say, I feel worried, or I feel excited. I'm happy for you. This looks like a lot of fun. I feel whatever it is that I feel about it. Be honest with your feeling. So, I see you guys want to go out. You want to go with your friends for the weekend. I feel excited for you because I think that, you're going to have fun. And then needs. All individuals have needs and values that sustain and enrich their lives. When those needs are met, we experience comfortable feelings like happiness or peacefulness. And when they're not, we experience uncomfortable feelings like frustration. Understanding that we, as well as those around us, have these needs is perhaps the most important step in learning to practice MVC and to live empathically. So I see you want to go spend the weekend with your friends. I feel excited for you about it. But what do I need from my child if they're going to go do this? What do I need that's going to make me feel comfortable for them? I need to know your friends. I need to know, if you have if you're going to be safe. Safety is a great need. I I need, what do I need to know about your situation? I need to know your friends. I need to talk to your friends. I need to see you have the right equipment. I need to make sure you have a tent. I need to make sure you have adequate food. I need to make sure you don't get lost. Whatever it is, whatever comes to you that you need at that moment. Whatever, maybe it's a fear that you have, maybe it's, whatever. So whatever your need is, you express that to the child. And then the last one is the request. And that is like the key to making this whole thing work. To make clear and present requests is crucial to MBC's transformative mission. When we learn to request concrete actions that can be carried out in the present moment, we begin to find ways to cooperatively and creatively ensure that everyone's needs are met. So my request is, um, give, give me a map where you're going to be. Show me, make sure that you have a good vehicle. I'm requesting to see the vehicle you're going to be going in. I'm requesting to know the parents of these people you're going with. Whatever it is, it's a request that you say that is going to express what it is that you want to experience from this situation. So every conversation, OFNR, and this, don't try to memorize this right now, because we are going to practice this, and we're going to get real clear on how to observe, express our feelings, our needs, and our requests. Karen, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is great, Lynn. Um, I had my granddaughter stay with me a couple weeks a few years ago when my daughter had to go away for a little while. And so, she wanted to go to the mall. And, I couldn't take her to the mall that night. So I said, well, you're going to have to take the bus. I said, but I need to know where you are. I need to know you're safe. And, there's a GPS on my phone. I said, I need you to put that GPS app on your phone because I need to know where you are and that you're safe. And she wasn't used to doing those things, but it was because I said that I really needed that. I need that. And I also told her that if she doesn't do it, she's not going, because this is what I need you to do, because like I am responsible for you right now and I do care about you and I do worry a young girl going on a bus at night, to the mall in King of Prussia, which is a very busy mall. So she was happy to do it because she was happy to be loved and cared for and to know that and she did everything I asked her to do and she did it beautifully. So I think when we allow ourselves to, when we will not allow, but when we just come from that loving space and just let the person know how much we love them and that we're only doing this because we love them, not to be newsy or not to be, I need to know everything you're doing and where you're at, blah, 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 just because I care, and, that's just, I think it's great. So I really like this. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And that's a really good example. That's what you needed to feel comfortable. And you, honestly, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with requesting these things. And it does make people feel, especially kids, makes them feel more comfortable to know that you really care and that you're invested in their well-being. This is it's a great gift for people to have that. And, people do become or feel gifted after a while that they're in a relationship with someone who really cares about them, really gives a crap about them. So anyway, those are the 4 components. So it's Offner and it's empathy and honesty. And so that's how we practice nonviolent communication. And it is a method, it is a practice. I know that there's a lot of people that, look at it and say, well, it's just a formula. It is. It's a formula. All right. A sentence is a formula. You know, it has a subject, it has an object, it has a adjective, it has some sort of a verb. You know, it's all a formula. It's an incomplete sentence if it's not all there. So I know this is probably kind of hard to see, but this is a feelings wheel, okay? And I'll actually send these things out so that you can maybe print them out or look at them yourself. And this is kind of what Amy worked with when Amy was here doing this group, um, the Monday night group. You know, you can look at your feelings and say, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm disgusted, I'm surprised, or whatever. But with nonviolent communication, what we do is we start with the first feeling that's in the middle here, how exactly we're feeling, and then we work it till we actually see what it is. So let's say I'm sad, or I feel bad. Let's say I feel bad. I feel bad. Do I feel tired? Do I feel stressed? Do I feel busy? Do I feel bored? Do I feel indifferent, apathetic, pressured, rushed, overwhelmed, out of control, sleepy, uh, unfocused? You know, those are all flavors of feeling bad. And there are many, many, many more. This is a simplified wheel here. But as we begin to look at our feelings and delve into what it is that we're really feeling, we begin to see that our feelings are much more in depth than just I feel bad, I feel happy, I feel sad. Angry, holy cow. Look at all the flavors of angry there are. And let me tell you what, once you start looking, you know, I'm angry, I'm pissed off. You know, my husband, didn't put the toilet lid down and I went in there in the dark and got a wet butt. I'm angry. But am I angry? or, or am I let down? Am I humiliated? Am I bitter? You know, I can go back and see all the different and figure out exactly what it is that I'm feeling. You know, maybe I'm just feeling, um, let down because, he didn't think about me when he was in there in the dark. I don't know. Anyway, Brooklyn, yeah, go ahead, honey.
I think this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Lenny. You know, it was funny. I was having a talk with my brother, and I said, we were talking about thoughts and feelings. And I said, well, feelings, sorry about that. Feelings, uh, do they come from thoughts? Like a thought will sneak in and you react with the feeling, or the feeling comes and you try to justify the feeling. It's interesting. What do you think?
I think the feelings come from thoughts and they
Right,
come
right,
from a judgment or a thought or idea about what
right,
I
right.
what I think, whatever it is. So right off the bat, I don't feel um uh I mean there's a lot of things that are not feelings that we call feelings. And we're going to talk about that too. And get clear on what real feelings are. Because if you're not clear on what real feelings are, I feel like you're mad at me. Like you're mad at me is not a feeling. You know, I might feel upset, I might feel angry, I might feel afraid, I might feel something like this, but like you're mad at me, that's not a feeling. That's a judgment on another person or an accusation. I feel like you're doing something, and that's not really a feeling at all. Yeah, it's an assumption. Exactly, Karen.
Mm, mhm,
It's a
mhm.
story that I'm making up about what I think you're doing. So we're going to learn to get clear on what feelings are, compared to what, a lot of times, I feel like, people are trying to hurt me. I feel like, like people are trying to hurt me is not a feeling. I might feel disappointed. because someone does something that doesn't I feel like doesn't respect me, or whatever, but I don't feel like you're trying to hurt me. That's not a feeling. But we get confused. We think those are real feelings. And then here is a very busy needs chart. And this is way too much to even look at. But this is about our needs. So look at our needs. We need mutuality. We need worth. We need identity. We need love. We need self-efficiency. We need trust. We need fulfillment. We need well-being. We need autonomy. We need harmony. We need wholeness. Uh, all the needs that we have can be defined also. And so I don't need to feel like you're going to be safe. That's not a need. But my need for safety and security is a need. My need for, it has nothing to do with the other person. It really only has to do with ourselves. And I know this is way too busy of a chart to be looking at, but it's pretty anyway. So that's what we're going to also learn about, is defining what our needs are, because we all have the same needs. Everybody has the same needs. We need sustenance, we need safety, we need comfort, we need autonomy, we need a sense of our own self-worth. We need so many things that we don't even recognize are being true needs. So that's another thing we're going to learn to talk about, and that's the end of that little. I didn't think I'd get through all those. But that's good, we did. But that's just a brief overview, okay? So it's a learning how to look at our thoughts, look at what's going on, and becoming clear about what it is, what is actually happening, and then being able to express that in language, and to be able to connect with others in that language. They don't have to know the language. They don't have to know anything about this. They don't need to know anything. But if we know how to do that and we learn how to do it skillfully, then we're going to have a lot better communication with people, because people are going to start looking at and saying, wow, she really cares about me. He really cares about me. He's really interested in me. He really wants me to be happy. These are the things that we learn. Karen, yeah, please go ahead.
I think this should be a requirement before anyone gets married. I am dead serious. I mean, communication is everything. I never knew about this until you started sharing about it, Lynn. This is amazing stuff. And learning to communicate, it starts at home, and then then we're with our friends, then we're at work, and then this spills into everywhere. And if it doesn't start well at home, it's not going to be good anywhere. I mean, you bring yourself wherever you go. And yeah, I love this. I think this is great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. I just hope, we get to spend some time not just learning how to do this, but really practicing it to the point where it becomes kind of automatic. And that's really what happens. It does become kind of automatic. And if I'm in a situation like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna, this is scary, I don't know what's gonna happen here, all I have to do is like go back into my offner. Okay, what's happening here? Oh, I see I'm being pulled over by a police officer for something. And, gee, officer, I see you pulled me over. Here's my observation. I'm kind of feeling a little nervous about this. Don't really know what's happening, but I really need to feel like I'm, I really need to be safe and not be in trouble. So, you know, what do you want me to do? What is the issue? What is the problem? There's your all four things. You got a observation, you got a feeling, you got a need, and you got a request. What do you want me to do? And so, it just you just start doing it. So anyway, thanks you guys. This has been a lot of fun. And I'm so grateful everybody showed up here. And I hope, maybe you can spend some time listening to some stuff on YouTube or something. Marshall Rosenberg. There's tons of stuff out there. Larry Lawhorn, who does our reading and text on Saturday mornings, has a whole website called Empathy Matters. And he does a lot of nonviolent communication stuff. So you might, maybe get to know Larry and check that out too.
You know what, Lynn, I've gone to his things, like it was, it was just that it was wonderful. But what he practices, Larry, is listening. Just what
Yes.
you're talking about. Are we really listening? I went to, I think it was just one, but I really like him. He's very into empathy, the kind of
Yes.
empathy, like, and we have to use these tools because giving the mind something to chew on, actually,
Yeah, and getting ourselves out of it,
Yeah.
getting my personal thoughts out of it and getting into what is really happening. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, this entire hour has made me realize how blessed I am to have the release technique and the Sedona method that cuts through all of this, gets right down to the heart of whatever the feelings that the deepest feelings are, and letting them go. It's all the non-loving feelings, all of that stuff. I'm just so blessed and so grateful. What a tremendous reminder this was. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rafi. Yeah, see, that makes me feel very loved.
Thank you so much, Lenny. It was wonderful, wonderful.
Thanks, you guys.
I love us.
I do too. I do
Big
love
hugs.
us. All right. All right. We'll see you guys on Thursday, because tomorrow's my day off, and I think I'm gonna actually do my Christmas shopping. So excuse me. All right, you guys, talk to you